Ramsdale were also good. He's right with this, man. We played the way we wanted to play and how we planned to try and attack. It was good. Then after the goal, the game changed a bit and the momentum changed. We gave the ball away in stupid areas. We let them run too many times behind us, so they created problems, especially in the second half. Rambo was really good back there. But again, it wasn't enough. Again, it was frustrating, and we have to take the point and move on. In the end, it's a point we have to take and move on. Of course, we're all frustrated as we wanted to come here and win, but we have to move on and just win the next one. When you come here, you have to be at your very best in every situation, and you cannot give them anything. And you see what happens. It's a tough place to come, but I feel like we had the chance today, and that's why it's a bit disappointing with the way the game changed, especially in the second half. He then also bigged up Aaron Ramsdale. Yes, he played a great game and saved us in many situations. As I said, it could have been more goals for them, but he was unbelievable, and a missed penalty as well. So I guess we'll have to take a point and move on. Could always be better, could always be worse. Agreed in most of your analysis, but this is why we need Telemans and Caicedo to bring still and control, plus another striker with pace to hold them back. Tierney should have come on earlier too. I'm not sure Telemans would have been the one, but I do think we need a press-resistant 8, which I wouldn't necessarily say Telemans is. I agree with you, the Caicedo. It'd be lovely to have drawn for another striker. It's games like that, yeah, where for me, we could deal with having a Giroud or someone like that where we're in our own half. Liverpool have us camped, they have us trapped. And when we're kicking it long, we're clearing it. But Jesus ain't getting nowhere near it. He's knackered. There's only so many times he can fight against Van Dijk. If you've got a 6-foot odd man, you knock it into him, he chests it. He either gets fouled by the Liverpool centre-backs or he's able to hold it up, bring other players into play. That can relieve the pressure for you in a sense, people. If I'm honest. Arteta at 2-1 wanted to defend the game. I don't question his subs, as he wasn't going to try and go toe-to-toe with Liverpool. He learned his lessons from the United defeat earlier this season. I think we were perfectly set up to go for the counter-attack, just didn't come off. For me, I don't think we threw enough punches. You know, it's unsustainable against a team like Liverpool to just sit back for 45 minutes. Like, yeah, they scored in the 87th minute, but, you know, we could all count ourselves extremely lucky. And listen, if you kept a cool head watching that second half, you're a cooler man than me. You need to be in the army, or you know, when you watch the movies and you have to cut the wires, and if you make the whole world blows up if you cut the wrong wire. You need people that have them composure levels there. Mods on Twitch, please block the spammers there, man. I don't want anything you're selling me. So yeah, I don't think we can disagree with what the gaffer has said there in any way, shape, or form. I think Saka also could have come off. Shout out Gabriel against Liverpool. He's in the trenches. 2 tackles, 7 clearances, 3 interceptions, 10 recoveries. He won 3 out of the 5 ground duels. I think he had 2 truths can be well. I think Salah, by his standards, was poor because on another day he probably does the Arshavin celebration. But he scored and he was a problem. And I also think Gabriel had a great game, marking him and all of those things. So yeah, shout out to Gabriel. Trenches. Big up Holding as well, because you left the game with some sort of credibility. You didn't get, that was your best game against Liverpool probably ever, really. Balogun, as we're going to get onto Balogun, but he's got 18 goals this season. Arsenal, unfortunately, even if we were to win the game, I don't think any fan expected a clean sheet. Arsenal failed to keep a clean sheet in any of their last 15 league games against Liverpool. Arsenal are currently 16 points better off than the equivalent games last season after today's result. So there is progress. That result means Liverpool can no longer win the title. Gabriel must be a tough guy to play against. For Gabriel, it weren't yesterday. Once Gabriel cuts out those bozo moments, I think he's a good player. I think in comparison to other centre-backs in the league, I don't think he gets enough praise for his ball ability. I think everyone can see he's a trench baby. He loves to defend, and he loves when he's someone if you go out to a party and you get in trouble, him, Xhaka, these are guys you want defending you, really. So yeah, man. Big up Aaron Ramsdale, really. The only thing I'd criticize with the ref, White got booked for a lot less than what Konate was doing and things like that. Jesus has 5 goals in just 7 Prem starts against Liverpool. Liverpool fans knew he was going to bag as well. I wanted to see more from the right-hand side as well, really. Just want to see it from a tactical point, analytical point of view, better yet, what was said. Big up Martinelli. He loves playing Liverpool. He got a goal and an assist and a bunch of other positive statistics, as you lot can see here. He loves it, in a sense, people. So yeah, crazy game of football. Speaking of crazy game of football, the linesman, how he got away with Elbow and Robertson. On one hand, good, isn't it? Because Robertson's one of them players, he's a good player. He's one that you don't like if he doesn't play for your team. But if you're giving it, like, it looked like to me, he looked like he was grabbing Donny and Donny just went like that. But some replays does look unprovoked. But bro, Robertson's never been punched in his mouth in time, man. He probably did. He deserved that, man. We got the linesman, man. Big up Aaron Ramsdale as well. More statistics. Again, Bobby Firmino loves scoring against Arsenal. And from a neutral point of view, as much as I can be, I can't lie. Firmino, I think Curtis Jones, on reflection of the game, picked up some lovely areas on the ball. Firmino changed the game. Ultimately, he scored. We're going to get into the tactical analysis, people. But again, following runners is something we need to learn from. Firmino made the second goal. He made it. Liverpool second. Yeah, big up Konate as well, bro. I don't know how he got away with stuff. Konate also a good defender as well, man. Klopp still yet to lose at home to Arsenal, and he probably, going to get away with that. Trent has provided more Premier League assists against Arsenal than any other player in the division. Well, fair enough. They've had Mane and Salah, really. A couple of them, he must have just passed them the ball and they've danced past 20-odd players. So, yeah, and, someone needs to take him down a peg or two, Johnny Big Bollocks there. Salah has now scored more PL goals against Arsenal than Jogba. I mean, Jogba didn't score many Premier League goals. So that's not hard, really. Big up Jog, big up Uncle Jogba as well. So, yeah, it's that, people. Smash the like button if you have not done such already. One love in advance, folks. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep moving on. Away from that, keep your thoughts coming. Again, we've already seen that. We've already look, bruv. Liverpool had 19 shots inside the box against Arsenal, the most such efforts that the Gunners have faced in the Premier League game since data was available. Mad tick. So, yeah, there is positives, There are some positives. Obviously, we dropped 2 points or gained a point, but it showed while we need to be able to do this for 90 minutes, it's shown we can go toe-to-toe with Liverpool. We can go at Anfield and put in a performance. To a degree, second half, it showed we can, at moments, suffer in a game. Of course, you want to see this played to another level, but you get the point. Obviously, we have a 6-point lead. For me, I don't think the title's over, any of that jazz, but I think it's City's, It's 6 points. City know they have to play us. Unfortunately, City are just too good, man. Like, we're playing a different beast. I'm not saying to give up or anything, but we're playing a different beast in City. I don't look at the Prem table, so this is news to me. I didn't even know Arsenal was in the title challenge, people. I didn't even know that. And keep your head up, Zinchenko. Pardon my language. Keep your fucking head up. Keep your head up. You got ripped by Trent. You're not the first or the last Don that's gonna get ripped against him. I think you've shown you're not a traditional fullback because you're not side on. You've opened, you're going kind of square. He's nutmegged you. That's a lesson to learn. A bit like Old Trafford away, a bit like last week against Leeds where he's turned. Zinchenko's never going to be a traditional left back. And there's a bit of an Arsenal tax in the sense of at City, you can kind of get away with that. They don't have to defend as much as we do. There are times where he just does the false left back stuff, but you have to defend. And I can't lie to you. Watching the game twice, I think people are doing too much with Zinchenko. I think he had a decent game. I think, he done everything we needed him to do. He let himself down for the goal. Collectively, the first goal was very disappointing because some people are stepping up, some people are not. But keep your head up. The whole reason Arsenal are in a title challenge is because of everybody, but you involved. You have transformed this club in your own way. You have brought a lot of that City stuff over here. So I don't want to see crying. I don't want to see fans drawing him out. Everyone can't be good every week. Saka was quiet yesterday, despite him and Odegaard, despite their involvement for the goal. Them two have been match winners and made the difference on plenty of other occasions. We win, lose, and draw together. Last time I checked. It's the collective, man. Hold your head, Zinchenko, man. I don't want to see no crying. I know you're upset, but I don't want to see no crying. We ain't got time for that. We have not got time for that. Looking at things from a tactical point of view, people. Again, I'm still here. Let me make sure I've got my notes in front of me. Scrolling all the way down. Again, let's look at the game from a different point of view. Again, first half an hour, quality from us, man. First half an hour, lovely from us. If you remember scrolling it, fasting forward a bit, Zinchenko's won the ball back in our half. We played about 14, 15 passes from front to back. Obviously, one thing I did like is that we exploited Liverpool's dysfunctional defense. That's been an Achilles heel with them. That, along with their away form and many other things Liverpool fans can tell me about, is that the one good thing I think we did against the run of players, obviously this move, which ended with Saka, Odegaard and Martinelli breaking. Konate actually vacates his position at some point. I actually think Trent's tucking in very well. At some point, forcing play on a bit, people. At some point, plays kind of ended up with Odegaard. He's tried to play a pass. I don't know what a quality player like Van Dijk is doing. He's kind of half swiped at it. Martinelli don't care. Martinelli's put in the back of the net. Great move from us. Great goal to get, really. And it came from front to back. And again, for Liverpool, that's something they need to learn. I think considering they've got a quality back five, I said it before the game, I think Liverpool's problems are in midfield. I know Henderson's technically got an assist, and Trent went in midfield kind of probably in hindsight to kind of combat the Zinchenko thing that we was doing. But I think Liverpool's defense is good. Van Dijk is a quality player. Bad form, yes, but you don't mean you're a bad player. Trent's a good player. I always sit here and defend Trent. Can improve a great deal defensively. Quality. Robertson, quality. Konate, fantastic potential. Alisson's a big dog. But defense, they've been disorientated. They're lying, you know, players are over covering, players are not marking. And I think we exploited those 2 goals. That was something I said, regardless of this result, I want to see that. And we did exactly that. Martinelli loves playing Liverpool. He's a big game player, having a great season. He put us ahead. We're in dreamland. Things got slightly better as well, because again, another passing move. Partey, who had a fantastic game, found Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka just punched it in the channels for Martinelli. Trent's in no man's land. Konate's forced out wide. Simultaneously, I know I haven't put their names, but Robertson and Van Dijk are somewhat ball watching. Jesus has just continued his run on a G thing. And then obviously it's a fucking fantastic pass from Martinelli, cross better yet from Martinelli. He's put it in. Jesus has headed it. We did have some other chances, but right now it's dreamland. But as we know, and as we found out, 2 goals is a dangerous lead in football, and especially against Liverpool. At that point, we either have to settle ourselves and keep doing what we're doing, or we kind of have to push for the third. 2-0 is difficult. And Liverpool did exactly what you want to see a team do when you're 2 goals down in the first half. Get 1 before halftime, let the fans then make noise and come out strong, which they did. Football is a mental game. When you look at the game, it's a tale of 2 halves. I don't know what Arsenal played in. I know what Arsenal played in the first half. I don't know what Arsenal played in the second half. Liverpool in the first half was Liverpool of this season. Liverpool in that second half was Liverpool of last season and seasons beyond, really. Football's a mental game, man. It's a very mental game. So we're in dreamland at this point. We've let ourselves down, you know. Again, you cannot sit here and blame Granit Xhaka, but we have lost our discipline. The crowd are making noise. Collectively, we're not doing well enough. You know, Xhaka, I felt you could have marked Henderson a bit better. Zinchenko and Gabriel are kind of in the incorrect positions. Again, it's not to scale, but if you remember correctly, Curtis Jones, as I said earlier, is picking up fantastic pockets of spots. He's found Jota. Jota's pulled it in. Henderson's relatively unmarked. Henderson's got a vital touch. Gabriel's been beaten to it by Salah. They're going to halftime with some optimism. From an Arsenal fan, I'm very disappointed. From a neutral point of view, Firmino's amazing. I think one of our problems is we were sitting too deep in our box. In the first half, we was backing ourselves. You know, we're winning our headers. We're trying to play football. I think we was a bit too timid in the second half. And if you remember correctly, Saka's tried to break. Firmino's won it back. Again, like I said, we're in our own box. Robertson's actually pulled it in, and Holding at this time has headed it out. Now, again, not to scale, Liverpool maintain possession, people. They maintain it. It's out here with Trent. Obviously, Trent has done Zinchenko. As I said, Zinchenko needs to be square on. He's not a left back by trade. And, you know, he's a professional footballer and he played left back, so he should know. But he's not a left back by trade. He should be square on. Like literally how I'm sitting now, square on, so that it can't go through your legs. He either goes inside or he tries to hit the touchline in the box sort of thing, hit the byline better yet. He's standing like this, like literally. I don't know if you lot can see me, but he's like this. Let me move the. He's like this. You can't defend as a fullback like that. You're asking to get nuts. You need to be like this on your tiptoes. He's not that, and Trent's done him. He's done a little get back from getting done by Martinelli. You know, he's been done. Simply put, he has been absolutely done, and it's a lovely pass. But as I said, focus on Firmino. Again, we're not clearing our lines and we're sitting back a bit too much for me. As I said, focus on Firmino because he started this whole move. Fantastic player. Fantastico. You know, he has started this, making it a bit narrow. Benjamin White has actually switched off. Holding and Benjamin White. I think it's Benjamin White because Firmino's picked him to it. He's not aware of Firmino. Firmino just continued his run, you know. This is what the great players do. A lot of the best footballers in the world, or top class players, or players that have won things, it's what they do off the ball. Yeah, they got fantastic ability. As I said, at one point, Trent's putting the ball in after fantastic play. But Firmino's continuing his run simultaneously. We're at 6s and 7s. Firmino's headed it. Benjamin White can't react. It's 2-2. Now, we should have probably lost that game if you look at the second half and, you know, the penalty miss. We maybe could have, you know, I think Gabriel Jesus had a good chance before he actually scored. Obviously, at the end with Martinelli, there were several moments we could do better. Several moments we could do better there, really and truly. So I would say positives, you know. Apparently, Liverpool have not conceded at home this year prior to our game. I think I heard Sky Sports say that. I could be wrong when I was watching this game on record again, people. Again, football's a 90-minute game. What did we do for the other 60, the other hour? But the first half an hour, I loved it. It showed we can go toe-to-toe. Showed we can play under pressure. Showed we can go away from home and quiet the fans. Showed we can go toe-to-toe with players or a team that's gone and done what we're aspiring to do, winning Prems and champs and the rest of it. There's a lot of positives, you know. There's a lot Holding, you know, big up Holding. You know, again, you made a mistake for the pen. There was a couple of occasions you gave the ball away and Liverpool had chances, not just him, but Holding leaves with his credibility somewhat intact. People thought he was going to get sliced and diced and all these things. That's the best game against Liverpool. Again, I big up everyone, but Ramsdale, Gabriel, Partey, I'm probably missing Martinelli. I'm probably missing the next one out. But you lot, Ramsdale, if I haven't made that clear, you lot, I saw you lot in the second half. I didn't really see others really and truly. So there are some positives. We showed bravery. We showed courage. In many ways, we limited Liverpool's chances for a big period of that first half. It's only when we're giving the ball away or they're just trying to bang it into the channels for Salah, in which Gabriel's doing a great job pulling out wide against him, really, which I think that shows me a lot of positives with the gaffer, really and truly. The first half an hour is the level we must be at and must sustain. Yes, if I'm being harsh, if I'm being a bit kinder, you're at Anfield. The last 10 minutes of the first half, the second half, you're going to be backs against the wall, really. In terms of improvements, can we take excitement out of games, especially away from home when the crowd is excited and things like that, by having that technical number 8 that can hold onto the ball, like what Thiago does, pop it round the corner or carry the ball and get fouled, bring in another guy like Partey for the trenches to get a bit more steel, just being a bit smarter, really, taking the sting out of the game, slowing the tempo of the game, not just playing one way, holding on to the ball. When there's, can you play when there's a single reason not to play? Can you keep calm when there's a storm happening? And I don't think we did that in the second half, but that's what we need to do, because that is what City do. That is what Liverpool historically did. That is what the Invincibles used to do. That is what any team that has aspired anything you lot want us to do. Again, I don't think we were street smart enough, really, because I think the play, as much as we're going to get onto Arteta, but I think the players have to also manage themselves. I don't think they did. I think they stopped doing what they was doing. I think players were playing in the second half more so in the first half. You are going to give the ball away. It's a game of football. Second half, I think we was very careless. I love Xhaka. I think he done all right yesterday, but I think you're overplaying. Zinni on occasion, Holding on occasion, and many others. Saka losing the ball in silly areas. We're clearing our lines when they've got. Can I even make an example of such? When they've got us in our own half, essentially. At some point, like even before the back three, it's almost like this, really. We're kind of stuck in our own half / our own box. Let's make it a bit easier. Second half, we're kind of like this. We're kind of at their mercy, really and truly. We're at their mercy, essentially. We're at their mercy, people. Obviously, you've got Odegaard there, and probably we're therefore a bit more narrower than this as well, same way. So again, not to scale, it is quite hard using these dots, people, but part of the beat, we're probably more so like this in the second half. We're probably more so like this. We're probably more so like that. Obviously, slap Alisson in there. You've got Trent being a midfielder. You've got Van Dijk now with years on the ball. Konate's there as well. You've got Robertson being a willful runner. You've got but we're suffocated. We are absolutely being suffocated at this moment in time. We're suffocated. We're struggling to get out of our half. We're not looking after the ball well enough. Wait, Trent, let's make sure we got enough. Put these two in there as well. So yeah, we've got 3 up front, 3 up, 3 in midfield, 3 there. But yeah, Trent's starting to conduct. The centre backs are narrow because they can't get out. Robertson's providing the width, and obviously people are tucking in. Thiago's come on and giving them a lift. We can't get out. We can't get out. We're clearing our lines. We're giving it straight back to them, really. And they're just getting onto us. Can we learn to take this thing out of games? Can we have that number 8 who, on the face of it, he's marked and he can get further up the field and get fouled? That allows us to stretch because we're giving it away. Jesus is getting tired, bro. He can't be everywhere, really. And we're not knocking it into Jesus. This is what I was saying earlier. Can we have a number 9 that when we're under pressure, under the cosh, can you knock it into him and he gets fouled? And obviously there's a free kick. Naturally, the back line has to drop. We get further up. I think we need to learn to be a bit street smart. We're very careless. We're not following runners. Again, the hardest thing to do is to keep your standards when you're knackered in life. Think about it in a real life example. If you've had 8, 9, 10 hours sleep, if you've had a good breakfast, if you're energized and you're sitting at your desk doing your work, you're going to be good, or your assignment. But if you've left your assignment if you're a college student or whatever, to the last day, last hour before it's due in, you're tired, you've had 2 hours sleep, you're going to make mistakes. Football is no different. We need to learn to be a bit street smart. Know when the tide is. There's nothing wrong with the tide turning in games, but know when the tide is turning and we have to concede it and react accordingly. I think we need an 8, we need a 6. We could do with a more physical striker. I think this game showed it. As I said, the key thing for me is not taking the excitement out of the game for Liverpool, not coming out on into the second half heeding the warnings at the end of the first. and we just left so many gaps on the transition as well. We need to learn how to take punches. For me, with Mikel Arteta, I love him, love what you're doing at this club, but nobody's at problems. People get things wrong. I think you made the wrong changes. In hindsight, watching the game, I agree with a lot of what you did, you know, because of what we have or haven't done in the transfer market. We ain't got an 8, we ain't got a 6. You know, I wasn't a fan of bringing on Fabio Vieira or Smith Rowe in that game as much as I love Smith Rowe for Granit Xhaka. You know, I did think as great, I can understand not taking off Saka and Martinelli. I did think they looked knackered, but I can understand it. But in the same ways, I think you needed to take one off. I understand why Jesus came off, but watching the game again, him and Odegaard probably shouldn't have come off because we started making more gaps. And also, you know, Trent and Robertson were on yellows at halftime. Can we smell blood and get onto them, get more 1v1 situations? I'm not too sure. I think Zinchenko needed to come off before the goal conceded, not because he was playing bad. It's like, well, we need to see out the game now. Tierney's a traditional left back of sorts, people. Once Jesus came off, big up Trossard, but he was out of his depth to a slight degree. Kirill, inexperienced, you got to use him. You know, the back three, I didn't understand. It's like the back three were unsure of what they needed to do watching the game again positionally. We're playing the back three. Some people are stepping out. Some people are retreating more and more into our box. And ultimately, Liverpool have had to deal with that for years. They smelt a lot of blood. I did think we needed more from our right-hand side. Benjamin White, you've been great. Saka, you've been great this season. Odegaard, you was involved in the second goal. But I think we needed a bit more from them. I don't think they rose to the occasion necessarily. I think we allowed them to play for no reason. I think people need, for both Arsenal and Liverpool fans, you can see how this is a mental sort of game. Ultimately, we gave the ball away a lot. And I think in the second half, what also cost us is, simply put, we sat back way too much. We sat back way too much, but we're just gonna have to be better the next time, innit? Really and truly, it's as simple as that, man. Morning, broski. Teeny always tries mentality elite. What did you think of Teeny when he came on? He looked like the only guy trying to win it. I think Teeny did what he could in the time he could, innit? Really, like by then the game's kind of gone against us. I think Teeny tried the thing, but it is what it is. And I think this is games like this show why, in my opinion, why you shouldn't draw conclusions on players. You know, Zinchenko did well, and I think the game plan worked, but it's not always the Zinchenko thing every game. We need different layers. We need different formations. You know, that's the next step. You know, if we look at City, because they're the ones who have done it. I hate to use City and Liverpool as examples, but they've done what we want to do. Naturally, you look at people who have done it. You know, we've got a good base now. We're developing more squad options, more so in an attacking sense. But we need to be able to change formations and change certain personnel, and you don't see the knock-on effect. Right now, if Zinchenko don't play, Tini can have a good job, but you will see his absence. Same way Tini and some. If you remove Xhaka or Partey, you see their absence. If Jesus ain't there while we've been going along, you see his absence, really. And that's the next step we need to go. I think that game showed why Edu needs to get on the phone for next season, really. We need an 8. We need a 6. I've been saying I think we need another striker. Probably even need another winger. I know Nelson, Smith Rowe, Vieira, all of these options are there and ready to enter the field, people. But I think this game showed. But we can't waffle about any of that for now, innit? We've got what we've got. We've got what we've got until next season, really. So it is what it is. If we don't win the league, rivals will say we bottled it when we haven't, because top 4 was the only thing I was hoping for this season. It'd be a missed chance. We are letting goals in recently. We need Saliba back and drop Zinni. I wouldn't drop Zinchenko necessarily. Tini can come and get minutes, but I wouldn't say that. But even that, I think Saliba would have given us another dimension. But Saliba's been there when we've conceded cheap goals as well. Again, I'm not dissing or discrediting Saliba or anyone. Definitely not. How could I? But it's always the one that isn't involved that's the golden child. In games like this, McAllister would be a good outlet to protect the ball when we win it. I think off the ball, Saka weren't great. He didn't really help Ben White. Off the ball, he looked knackered, man. Where's Ramsdale in the pole? Ramsdale should be there, man. Essentially. You have a chip on your shoulder attitude problem. Where the hell did you get that? Fair enough, man. I take that as a compliment. The waviest dons in life, not everyone's got an ego, everyone's got an attitude problem. The waviest, the mavericks in this world, you know, they've all had that. Fair enough, man. If you know, in the most humblest way, if you look like this, drip like this, had supporters like the people there, you'd be like this too. Martinelli gets an honourable mention. Sitting back is not to our benefit. We're better going toe-to-toe with teams. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.